Шановні колеги, ми
Dear colleagues, we continue our working day and we are giving the floor to Alexander Hug, Principal Deputy Chief Monitor of the OSCE Special Monitoring Mission in Ukraine.
Good afternoon, dear friends. We have seen yet another bad week in Donbass. Most violence has been happening in the Yasinovata-Avdiivka area and in areas around Donetsk airport. As in previous weeks, the Debaltseve-Svetlodarsk road remains a flashpoint too. Dear friends, violence is much like a bushfire. If it is not extinguished, it can spread in the most unexpected manner. And so this week, we have seen troubling developments with high numbers of ceasefire violations recorded in areas where relative calm had previously prevailed. On Wednesday, for instance, our monitors in government-controlled Berezove, some 30 kilometers southwest of Donetsk, heard 60 undetermined explosions southwest of them. Also on Wednesday, SMM monitors in Novo-Alexandrivka in western Luhansk region heard at least 50 explosions assessed as caused by mortar round impacts about 3 kilometers southwest. Then on Monday, in nearby so-called LPR-controlled Kadivka, that's formerly Stakhanov, the SMM heard at least 63 undetermined explosions 7 to 10 kilometers west and southwest. Of particular concern is the situation in the western and southwestern outskirts of so-called DPR-controlled Horlivka. On Sunday night, for example, our monitors in the city heard approximately 280 explosions west and southwest of them. 50 rounds were recorded over a 10-minute period. Many of these areas have had violence before. What is significant now is the intensity and frequency. It is impossible to say what causes localized escalation. We do know, however, that it is more probable if the sites are positioned closer to one another. I'm therefore particularly concerned about the recent forward movement of positions. Now, listen careful, please. Those positions have moved forward in Mayorsk, north of Horlivka, and at the Stanitsa Luhanska bridge in the Luhansk region. Every action sets off a reaction, and so at Mayorsk, the so-called DPR moved their positions forward on 5th of June, followed by a move forward by the Ukrainian armed forces a week later. At Stanitsa Luhanska bridge, we saw a similar sequence of events. The so-called LPR moved their positions forward, actually across the river, still on the bridge, on the 12th of June. 3 days later, the Ukrainian armed forces moved their positions forward. The situation at the bridge is particularly tense. There, the sites are now just 300 meters from each other. The OSCE Special Monitoring Mission has been actively facilitating dialogue between the sites on the ground there. As I speak, those efforts are ongoing, and I hope they yield some positive results soon. In this respect, I would like to acknowledge the role being played by the Joint Center for Control and Coordination. Their hands-on involvement underlines their potential. I wish a similar approach were taken elsewhere. Meanwhile, in the absence of a coherent and effective mechanism jointly operated by the sides, the conflict rolls on, and the number of people being killed and injured grows. This week we learned of an 11-year-old boy who had been shot in the leg in government-controlled Avdiivka on Saturday. We also learned that 11 Ukrainian soldiers had been injured in the city on the same day, one of whom subsequently died in hospital. We were also informed that 12 Ukrainian soldiers were admitted to hospital in Volnovakha on the same day. And now we have initial reports of 2 civilians injured near government-controlled Marinka last night. They were reportedly hit when the government-controlled positions came under attack. Dear friends, physical injury and body bags can be counted. They, however, represent only part of a wider story of suffering. On Friday, our monitors heard from local people in so-called DPR-controlled Komuna close to Debaltseve. They spoke of widespread psychological trauma among children in town. One woman told us that her 4-year-old son had not spoken following the intense violence in the area when Debaltseve was taken by the so-called DPR. Such trauma does come to no surprise. Every day, our monitors see how military hardware and personnel are positioned among civilian infrastructure. Using someone's home as a firing position means that this home and those inside it become a target. What we saw on Thursday in the Kubievsky district in the so-called DPR-controlled Donetsk city is revealing in this respect. In a roughly 100 square meter area, our monitors saw shell damage to many houses, saw blood stain in one, and heard of one elderly woman having been injured. The SMM deals in facts. It is a fact that this residential area was shelled. it is also a fact that less than 500 meters from one of the houses shelled, there were 4 surface-to-air missile systems and 6 multi-purpose light armored towing vehicles. These weapons are also in clear violation of agreed withdrawal lines. They, along with countless other examples on both sides of the contact line, illustrate a wider point. The sides are not adhering to the commitments made in Minsk. They must do so if normalization and stabilization are to be achieved. As usual, at the end of my statement, I would like to inform you about the latest mission numbers. As of today, the mission has 709 monitors, of whom 589 are deployed in the east. In addition, there are 306 Ukrainian colleagues and 86 other international staff working for the OSCE Special Monitoring Mission to Ukraine. Thank you for your attention, and I'm available for any questions that you may have.
Thank you, Mr. Hook. Are there any questions or clarifications to your colleagues? If no, then at this point the press conference is finished. Thank you for coming and looking forward to seeing you here next week.
Okay, thank you.
Шановні колеги,